Okay, so I said a lot of times to myself, to my friends, that I won't ever go back to school. But this year, guys, I have gone to college once again. And I don't know, maybe it's my passion for learning that is keeping me here. But, anyways, when we are in school or at work, our teacher or our bosses would assign us to give PowerPoint presentations, right? And then you ask yourself, how can I create an effective presentation that would bring me a higher grade or create more impact to my audience? And this is really a fun topic. I just love this topic so much because in school, this is what I love to do most often. Like, I prepare for my PowerPoint presentations more than my quizzes, guys. And when it comes to your oral presentations, always remember this. It's your guide, but it's more on your audience guide. First, we don't want to have a lot of text in the PowerPoint presentation. Most of what people do, they tend to copy what they find on the internet and paste it immediately in the PowerPoint presentation, which is a big no, guys. Why? Because the audience doesn't really care. They don't know all the text there. They won't even read what you place there. So I'd like to suggest number 2, have one-liners or even just one word. For example, compare these 2 slides. Which do you think is more effective as a viewer? Okay, the first one, right? A simple phrase like, for example, ancient Chinese kites, right? Because if you have the second, you'll just end up reading all the information there. Third, make the font over 24. For example, like this. This is really one of my projects for English back in my previous college. Why, guys? So this creates a much more huge impact for the audience, especially when you are giving a point that you want them to remember. For example, the phrase provide justice, penalize acts of cyber violence. And to make it more effective, bold the main points. For example, in this slide, you have seen that the number 10 is bold. At the same time, the 500,000 is also bold. Next, what I would like to suggest is add some pictures. And not just any pictures, guys. I suggest you put PNG plus clear pictures. And what I mean by PNG is, it's like this. Okay, like this one, I inserted a toilet bowl on the pie graph to represent sanitation facilities. So this was my oral presentation project on my economics class, or maybe you could have like this, okay? Guys, you would want to do this because it looks more refreshing to watch. And I would always want to make it a point to give a presentation as if my audience are kids. They don't want a boring presentation, guys. They want something that can catch their attention and it's very refreshing for them to look at. And I've seen a lot of people, they would insert pixelized pictures. This is, I think, very unprofessional. But if it's needed for you to give a picture about history, for example, and they are a bunch of ancient pictures, then I think that's fine. But I think you'll be able to find a non-pixelized picture, okay? So professionalism doesn't mean less fun and less engaging, alright? Next, this is really one of my favorite parts to think about. It's the theme. In every presentation, there's always a theme, okay? With the theme, you will have a guide of what fonts and pictures you are going to put out in the presentation, or even what color. For example, with my economics class project earlier, my theme was water. Okay, so since water is usually represented as blue, I made the presentation with shades of blue. And you could also add some colors, but I made sure that the main color is blue. Or, for example, in my recent presentation in my science class, we were asked to present ancient civilization technology. My technology was the ancient Chinese kites. So I found a font that looks ancient and looks Chinese, like this. And I made the background white so that it would have a minimalistic vibe. And on my next slides, I made sure the phrase Chinese kites was vertically positioned to make it more seem like how the ancient Chinese people write before, right? It's mostly vertical. Next, I have also an extra tip. I suggest that you don't put transitions in your PowerPoint. Aside from it takes too much time to put up. When you are presenting, you would want your speech to be aligned when you say a word or a phrase and when you click for the next part. Like for example, when I say ancient Chinese kites. Okay, so this slide will show up immediately. Aside from that, especially when we are doing an online presentation, the lag from the internet will make your presentation a little bit ineffective. But for me, even during face-to-face, I don't usually put transitions on my PowerPoint. But of course, if you still want to do that, then why not, right? It's your decision, it's your choice. So overall, those are the tips that I'm sharing you today. Hopefully, you're able to learn lots and apply it in your next or future presentations. This has been Krizia. Nice to meet ya. Bye-bye guys. See you soon. God bless you.